Did you know an ancient Roman empress once allegedly challenged Rome's most notorious prostitute to a competition to see who could sleep with the most men in a single night? Get ready, because that was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to Valeria Messalina. Hello history buffs, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving headfirst into the scandalous life of Valeria Messalina, the third wife of the Roman Emperor Claudius. When we think of Roman empresses, we often imagine powerful figures wielding influence behind the throne, perhaps scheming subtly in the shadows. Messalina, she threw the rulebook out the window. This isn't a dry historical lecture, folks. We're going on a journey, a roller coaster of ambition, lust, alleged conspiracy, and ultimately, tragedy. We'll explore how Messalina navigated the treacherous waters of the Roman court, how she used her position to her advantage, and ultimately, how her insatiable desires led to her downfall. Forget prim and proper. This is a story of a woman who seized power, however fleetingly and however controversially, in a world dominated by men. So, buckle up, because the story of Messalina is one you won't soon forget. To truly understand Messalina, we need to look at her roots. She wasn't just some random girl plucked from obscurity and thrust into the limelight. Messalina was born into one of Rome's most prestigious families, the Valerians. Think of them as the Roman equivalent of the Kennedys or the Rockefellers. Power and influence were in her blood. Her mother, Domitia Lapida the Younger, was a niece of Emperor Augustus and a cousin of Agrippina the Elder, the mother of the future Emperor Caligula. This familial connection to the imperial family was crucial. It paved the way for her marriage to Claudius, who, let's be honest, was considered something of an afterthought by the Roman elite. Claudius had a bit of an awkward reputation. He was plagued by physical ailments, stammered, and was often ridiculed for his perceived intellectual shortcomings. After Caligula's assassination, when the Praetorian Guard declared Claudius emperor, many saw him as a puppet ruler, someone easily manipulated by those around him. Enter Messalina, young, beautiful, ambitious, and connected. In 38 AD, she married Claudius, a man roughly 30 years her senior. This wasn't a love match. It was a calculated move that elevated Messalina to the highest echelons of Roman society. She was now empress. The game had begun. Now, picture this: Rome, the capital of the world, overflowing with wealth, power, and decadence. And at the heart of it all sits Messalina, the empress. She was young, vibrant, and determined to enjoy every perk that came with her position. Messalina wasn't content to merely be seen and not heard. She participated actively in court life, influencing Claudius' decisions and consolidating her own power base. She became known for her lavish parties, extravagant displays of wealth, and her unconventional personal life. Stories began to circulate throughout the city tales of her alleged affairs with senators, gladiators, and even actors. Some accounts even claim she ran a brothel incognito, engaging in scandalous activities under the cover of anonymity. One of the most infamous stories involves a supposed competition with a prostitute named Scylla. According to Pliny the Elder, Messalina challenged Scylla to see who could sleep with the most men in a single night. The details are graphic and probably exaggerated, but the story captures the image Messalina came to embody: an empress who defied societal norms and embraced her desires without restraint. It's important to remember that these stories were often written by historians biased against her. We can't be sure how much is true and how much is sensationalized gossip. But even if only a fraction is accurate, it paints a picture of a remarkably uninhibited empress. Messalina's reign wasn't just about parties and alleged affairs. She was a shrewd political operator, actively involved in the cutthroat world of Roman court politics. She used her influence to eliminate rivals, amass wealth, and solidify her position. She was notorious for using false accusations to get rid of those who threatened her power. Individuals who displeased her or whom she perceived as threats were often framed for treason and executed. This wasn't uncommon in Roman politics, but Messalina's ruthlessness stood out. One chilling example involved the powerful senator Appius Silanus Messalina. Fearing his influence and perhaps harboring a personal grudge, orchestrated his downfall. She and her lover, the actor Mesta, fabricated a story about Silanus plotting against Claudius. The emperor, icily swayed by his wife, condemned Silanus to death. Her ambition knew no bounds. She saw herself as the power behind the throne, the true ruler of Rome, and she was willing to do whatever it took to maintain her position. even resorting to murder and manipulation. Now, this is where Messalina's story really gets wild, right? If you're enjoying this deep dive into the life of this fascinating and outrageous empress, hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss future explorations of history's most intriguing figures. Also, let me know in the comments what other historical figures you'd like me to cover. Now, back to the drama. But all empires, even those built on lust and ruthless ambition, eventually crumble. Messalina's downfall began with her growing audacity and increasingly reckless behavior. She started to believe she was untouchable. Claudius, despite his perceived weaknesses, wasn't completely oblivious. Whispers about Messalina's activities reached him, whispers planted by those who sought to undermine her power. These whispers grew louder and more credible. The final straw was her public marriage to Senator Gaius Silius, while Claudius was away in Ostia. This wasn't just an affair. It was a full-blown ceremony with vows and witnesses. This blatant display of infidelity and defiance directly challenged Claudia's authority and couldn't be ignored. Whether this marriage was a desperate power play, a plot to overthrow Claudius, or just another act of reckless impulsiveness is debated. Whatever the reason, it was a fatal mistake. News of the marriage reached Claudius, and he was forced to confront the truth about his wife. His reaction was a mixture of shock, disbelief, and anger. Narcissus, one of Claudius's most trusted freedmen, seized the opportunity. He convinced Claudius that Messalina was plotting against him and urged immediate action. Claudius, now convinced of her treachery, ordered her execution. Messalina attempted to plead her case, but it was too late. According to some accounts, she begged for her life, filled with fear and despair. But as the soldiers approached, she regained her composure and faced her fate with surprising defiance. She was executed in the gardens of Lucullister, same gardens where she had hosted so many extravagant parties. Her death marked the end of a tumultuous era. Messalina's reign, though brief, left an indelible mark on Roman history. She became a symbol of female power, ambition, and the dangers of unchecked desire. So, what can we learn from the story of Messalina? It highlights the complexities of power dynamics, particularly for women in ancient Rome. Messalina used her beauty, connections, and audacity to carve out a place for herself in a world dominated by men. It also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of excess and the importance of self-control. Her insatiable desires and reckless behavior ultimately led to her downfall. And finally, it reminds us that history is rarely black and white. Messalina was complex and contradictory, capable of great ambition and shocking depravity. Whether you view her as a power-hungry manipulator or a victim of a patriarchal society, her story continues to fascinate and provoke debate centuries later. The story of Messalina is a wild ride, isn't it? A potent reminder that history is filled with characters who challenge our perceptions and force us to reconsider what we think we know. Her story reminds us that even those in positions of ultimate power are not immune to consequences. Now, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Messalina? Do you see her as a villain, a victim, or something in between? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history's most fascinating and controversial figures. Thanks for watching, everyone. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next video.